Okay, so I had a couple people that were interested in learning about a little bit more about Airbnbs. So, when you look at an Airbnb investment, you are looking at the annual income of the property, just like a business, right? And then you less expenses, right? So, I'll just go over a scenario of a house that we're looking at. Now, typically, we were looking at like a $400,000 house, $500,000 house. It's something that we felt like, just as in we could swing. But we found another house. It has a better location, more amenities, walk to shuttle, views of the mountain, A-frame, just like sexy, So I believe that more people will come and rent this out just based off of its location as well as its just beauty. So, and like uniqueness. So, okay, so let's just take a look at some of the numbers here. So, you have a purchase price of X amount. I'm hoping we can get this house for $750,000. We put a down payment of $100,000 down, and that means that our loan amount would be $600 and whatever. This is $65,000. You have to typically put in closing costs as to how much, the bank is going to charge you, plus whatever your interest is. We have an opportunity to get private financing, seller financing. So what does seller financing mean? I had to learn a lot about this as well. Seller financing is like when you have your mortgage paid off and you can outright sell your property, but you become the bank. So we get the deed, but they hold the first lien. So in this instance, it would be the $650,000 or $665,000 that he will hold. Seller financing can kind of depend on number of things. I mean, they can ask for your credit, they could ask for pre-approval, they could ask, who knows, whatever the seller, however they want to vet you, is up to them. And that's a really great option to remember when you do have property and you still want to continue to make money, aka the interest, right, on the property, and not get hit with capital gains either. So I don't think you get hit after like $250,000 of capital gains. So for instance, this seller, this is going to be great for him because he's going to get $100,000, soon. And then he's also going to be getting paid that $35,000, $37,000 a year of interest for the loan amount that he's getting. So it's a win-win for everybody. Just so that we know where mortgage rates are. So a 5.5% mortgage rate is awesome. We don't even have that in, for just a regular single family home to purchase. It's at 6.5. There's other, options you can do. 10% down, second home financing. Those rates are at about 7.5. And then investment loans, which are typically 15% and up, are around 9.5%. But the thing is it doesn't really matter what the percent is, as long as you're more focused on your cash flow. So everyone's like freaking out, but it's like just focus on your money. All right, so that's that. Then we have to include so I'm including these like annual, everything's annual. So I'm including the annual taxes of almost $10,000. Insurance, which I'm still waiting for a quote for. But you'll need different insurance when you do an Airbnb. So make sure you, get it covered. And then it's typically called a PITI, and that will include your principal, your insurance, your taxes, and your interest, and that's typically how much you'd be paying over the year. Now, my numbers might be a little bit different because I don't know if we're paying principal on this for the seller financing, but in most cases you would add what you're paying in terms of principal. But in your first year, you're mostly paying interest. You're not paying a lot on your principal. Then I have my annual HOA fees. Those are about $4,300 a year. That includes like snow plowing, maintenance, lawn maintenance, some kind of like pump cleaning. I don't know all of it, but I'll get that information. Always want to make sure that number one, that the HOA approves short-term rentals. That is the most important, as well as the town. And then number two, just figure out what it is they're doing and just get all the information, get all the documents and stuff that you need, and you have to review, because you're buying the house. And then utilities, I put $1,000 a month, and that would include, heat, electricity, even like Wi-Fi I was including there, so you can get kind of a general understanding as to how much that is. Okay, so then we look at our annual income. I've spoken to a couple Airbnb people, and there's two specifically. One has an Airbnb in New Hampshire, 4 bedrooms. I think he bought it for like $600, the house, and he said he's gonna net anywhere from $160,000 a year to $200,000 a year. And based off of my just like counting the days, like finding other similar properties, this is right around where we would be, if not hopefully higher. There's also AirDNA, which is a great way. You can purchase each town, and it will tell you, you can put in literally the address, and it will tell you like what the revenue will be for that year. I think sometimes it's a little bit high, but it's a good like indicator to sort of start where, like, figure out where you are. So that's called AirDNA. Okay, so we look at, let's say 160 to $200,000, and our total expenses, I don't know if I went over this, equals the $65,000, almost $65,000. So if we less our annual income, 160 minus the 63, we're right around $95,000 for the year. If we go up and we have an annual income of 200,000, then we'll be at about 135,000, which is amazing. So, investors use different, formulas, or, however they base their investment off of. One of them is cash on cash. I had heard that a lot, but I didn't really know what it was. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about cash on cash. Cash on cash is you take the income, 160, less the expenses. So that's 65. So this is what we're going to get in cash flow. And then you divide it by whatever your initial investment was. So for this particular piece of land, I did $100,000, and I actually added another $20,000 because of everything. Like, probably within the year, we're gonna want to redo a bathroom. We're gonna paint, fixtures, linens. You're gonna need cups. You're gonna need cutlery. You're gonna need all the things in the cupboards, blankets, all the things. So I did about $20,000 for that. Could be more. But yeah, so the cash on cash investment is 78%, which is amazing. Your minimum that you're ever gonna want is 10%. So anyway, obviously, like, we're gonna look at a house, we're gonna write an offer. I'm a strong believer in always having an inspection done, because, like, I'm not the one going up in your roof. And I don't know what to look for, even though I've been in the business for a while. I am not a home inspector. So I am willing to pay that, $400 or $500 to have somebody come in, inspect the entire house, to really make sure that this is a good investment that you're buying, right? You can also ask for an appraisal, and typically you need if you're going with a bank, it needs to appraise, because then the bank won't fund it, right? They're like, well, this isn't worth it, so they're not going to make money. They don't want to make a bad financial decision either. The last thing I want you to remember is when you are doing an Airbnb, like you essentially have a hotel, right? So you have to think of the way you look at it is your occupancy rate. So you look at, let's say, 365 days out of the year, and you find an occupancy rate on AirDNA. They have good occupancy rates. And AirDNA of like 50%. So that would mean, all right, half of the year, 180 days out of the year, I'm making X amount a night, $1,000 a night, hopefully. So yeah, I mean, I've seen occupancy rates in Vermont around like 67%. So that's really, that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know. If there's a property that you're looking, you have to think of like a place that you want to go to, like a place that you would love to bring your family to, a place that you, that's going to rent out year round, as much as possible. Some other criteria that people look at is, near a college, near a coffee shop, within walking distance, on a lake, any of those things. But what I can help you do is if there's a location that you like, we can kind of start taking a look at the numbers and the areas, but we can also help you purchase in whatever state in the country. We have referral networks, and that's really great to be able to work, within our referral network. So I will help vet as well the agents, and yeah, so call me 609-598-2232. We are going up to Vermont this weekend, and we'll have some more videos for you then. Bye.